Counting flowers on the wall, that don't bother me at all. Playing solitaire till dawn with a deck of 51. What are the humans doing?
Do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah. Signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. So if you think you're ready, you don't need more proof. Conspiracy deniers are denying the truth. They fabricate our problems and pretend to provide the best solution, but we all know they lied. They lied about the weapons and they lied about health. They lied about the fact that they're transferring the wealth. You should really notice how they're pushing the fear. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. Yeah. Everybody's not thinking clear. Yeah. Keep everybody terrified. Yeah, and not thinking. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. When you do, you realize that this is their trick. It's getting really stupid now, they're taking the mic. Said, do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah. Signaling their virtues on their profile.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chilling with Sasquatch. Tonight, we're going to take a look at a very interesting small town in the middle of absolutely nowhere, where people just seem to drop off the map for no apparent reason. I've got a video over here explaining the whole thing. He says it better than I can anyway. Then we're going to look into some absolute shoplifting madness that I've stumbled across. There's this brand new, very small channel. All the links are in the description if you're interested in jumping to the front of the line. I can't blame you if you do. Some of them are pretty awesome. And the last bit for YouTube for tonight is going to be a missing mom with whose case was solved by a random security camera that nobody noticed, which I think is scary as hell. But I mean, if I remember properly, it's been a minute since I've gone over this particular case, but if I remember properly, no one went looking for that security camera. A random dude who was responsible for keeping track of the video was like, wait a second, that's right outside that particular door. Maybe I should check it. And he did. And ipso facto, we have a culprit. Almost certainly. Allegedly. Anyway, I don't want to catch any weird lawsuits out there just because I'm one of these here influencer type figures. How are we doing this evening, chat? What is going on with y'all? We got Cynthia's, well, I guess it's What's Up Cynthia in chat. She's chilling like a villain, cheating, robbing, stealing. and my mouse is going slightly haywire. We'll fix it later and it'll be fine. Consummate professionals here, I'm telling you. Smoking Auditor says, see if I can get this right. I don't know how old he is, but he's super excited to have 500 sub. Give him another sub, make his day. I think he might have more videos than, I guess, the Smoking Auditor. Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be horribly hard. And is that Basin or Bassin? Because there's a sneaking suspicion I might have stumbled across him already. What's up, John Denicola? Good to see you, bud. We got Making Stupid People Famous over here. Witness has showed up. Yeah, I can speak misspelled pretty well. I can read it, you know. Hey, how you doing? All right, so I'm trying a new little setup here. I'm tinkering with the gizmos, and so if anything ends up out of place, y'all gotta let me know these things because I be forgetting. I'm just a pretty face. I can't keep track of all this stuff too. So absolutely silly. Let's see if I can make this actually happen, Captain. All right. So as you can see, there is chat on screen. And I have this very interesting thing down here called Rumble Chat, where no one exists. There's actually no real people on Rumble. I think I've found 2 actual folks over there in the past 2 weeks of streaming there, utilizing every underhanded, duplicating silliness I could think of. Pretty much all of Flow State's content, if I'm on panel, it's going that way for about an hour if I happen to be on. And it's just because I don't know what else to do with Rumble. I don't know what it do. I'm poking at it, see what jiggles. That's all I know to do. So if you happen to have a phone that'll let you chat and Rumble, let me know. And all you got to do is like type in whatever type of phone you have. I don't even care who you are, if you sub or don't or whatever, follow, whatever they call it over there. I don't give a damn. I just want some data, man. And you know what happens if nothing happens for 2 weeks? Nothing happens. You learn nothing. You upload stuff, nothing happens. Some of it gets viewed, some of it doesn't. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to any of it. I can respect that. I mean, people be flighty and flaky. It's fine. But without some type of like activity taking place, it's really difficult to get a beat on what to do. What do you like? What do you don't like? Are we writing? Or do I need a mirror for this? I think I need to break out a mirror on that one, bud. All right, so there's this little town in South Carolina, and it is named Walhalla, South Carolina. And in this little town, people just seem to be like wandering off of the earth. It's like they take a left and go straight to hell. Right? No, no, this is absolutely true. The only notifications I get about Flow State going live is from Rumble, and I've only seen one. What's up, Salty? Welcome in, bud. Good to see you. All right. Without too many further ados, anyway.
There's a small town on the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in South Carolina called Walhalla. In this town, there is a community of people with a problem. In the past few years, there has been multiple deaths and disappearances in this group. I decided to try to get to the bottom of it.
I solved it. I know what's going on. There's way too many people up there making math.
I spoke with family of the victims, the investigators on the case, and suspects. I'm likely going to be doing multiple seasons to cover these, but for this first season, I'm going to focus in on 3 of them. In January of 2019, 37-year-old April Jones was found dead in a workshop on her property.
Autopsy said looked like she had rope burns on her wrists, her ankles, her neck.
Her death was initially...
I think that's a little personal there, make stupid people famous. What's up, Farlat Moods? Good to see you. Isaac Bryden Elohim Risen Christ. Why do I feel like I know you? Make stupid people famous. Challenge. I want you to write a song about guppies. your challenge, should you choose to accept it. There we go. All right, so everything's like weirding out on me over here. So if it crashes, I'll be back as soon as I can, or take a nap, whichever comes first.
Ruled a result of an accidental overdose and hypothermia, though evidence has since come to light that shows this might not be the case. Just 1 week after April was found dead, 26-year-old Faith Roach disappears. The last place she was seen was at a home that April was also at just 2 days before her death.
Horror movies.
Do I have to point out the irony of a chick named Faith Roach? I mean, I know it's not clever. It's not. Can you imagine what an unfortunate name that was growing up? I knew a dude named Jamal Roach, and it was unfortunate for him as well.
These are not made up to some of the stories we've been told.
Faith Roach is missing to this day. 3 months after Faith's disappearance, 32-year-old Kevin Craig is found on a hot summer day dead. He was barricaded from the inside.
Hey, brother, whichever one tickles your pickle harder, man. Guppies are funny. Yuppies might be funnier depending on how you go about it. Are there any yuppies left in the world? I don't know. I think they all smoke crack now.
Side of a room in his trailer. There were syringes found next to him, but no drugs found in his system. His death was ruled as a result of heat exposure and seizures. Similar to April's death, information has been brought to light that could change this, and the sheriff's office even wrote up warrants to charge someone with Kevin Craig's murder.
Our investigators that determined Kevin Craig was murdered because of what he knew about the disappearance of Faith Roach.
So to recap, we'll be investigating the death of April Jones, the disappearance of Faith Roach, and the death of Kevin Craig.
Okay, so as I understand it, Faith Roach has not been found. We don't know if she's actually dead or if she just said, fuck this shit, I'm out, and dipped. We don't know. Well, they're going to go up to the disappearance, but looking at the, shall we say, demographic of those involved, I'm going to stand by my previous statement and assume that there is a meth lab in those hills, probably a moonshine still too. And those two are both explosive combinations, especially together. Dear Lord. But the upside is you can use the product from the moonshine to clean up all of the products from the other stuff. So maybe you can make it work in the long run, although I strongly disadvise against it. As your lawyer, I advise against you taking up this particular career path.
And attempting to see if all three of these cases are actually connected. Going into this, I had no idea what I was actually getting myself into.
Well, son, I got a little bit of an idea. You see, there be crystals in them there hills. Crystals and hillbillies. And I don't mean the kind you order like at the White Castle.
Complete game changer for you. It is. You do not know how much danger you will be in.
Before we dive into the details, let's lay.
I feel like that young lady may have met a few of my cousins. Hey, Lawless, if you check your email once every 3 days, you might actually find some interesting emails in there from a Sasquatch. Well, that's all I'm going to say about it.
Lay some groundwork. Oconee County, South Carolina, where Walhalla is located, is in the northwestern part of the state, bordering Georgia and North Carolina. The county from the south.
Sounds like hard times in a bottle, bud. Like, if you're stuck between Georgia and North Carolina, you probably ain't doing real swift in that whole dinero department. Just saying, man.
South end to the north end is a gradient of foothills up to the Blue Ridge Mountains. The west border of the county runs along the Chattooga River, with North Georgia on the other side. The east border runs along a series of connected lakes. It's a truly beautiful area. My first trip to the area to film was as the weather was cooling down and the leaves were changing colors. Driving through the winding mountain roads felt like an oddly calm contrast to the reason for me being there in the first place, to get to the bottom of these tragic mysteries. By the way, my name is Eric Allen. I live about 4.
All right. So homie does some, ooh, I've been there. That's very, very close to where me and Harry Nuts went fishing at. And I think y'all got a grand total of about 37 seconds of that trip on film. I got a little bit more of it I haven't released, but I don't know. We had a really good time together, and it was not exactly YouTube friendly. Perhaps in the future I will do that type of stuff somewhere a little bit safer to monkey around with, because I got some really, really blue jokes that I just can't do here. I'll tell you. Mommy duty now. Toe is sick. Oh my God. I bet he's got a full-blown man flu. I bet it's killing him. I bet he can't even like make his own soup and stuff. But I am not an artiste. I am willing to get together and utilize my gift of blarney if you think that might propagate a better tune. But I have no musical skill whatsoever. I haven't got a single musical bone in my body, not nowhere. I can pretend to play the saxophone, which means I look at the page and play what's on the page, but it's with completely monotone. It's just like I sing. No verb, no soul, none of that. It's just technical knowledge of how to do it. I don't understand the theory behind it, I suppose.
4 hours from Oconee County on the coast in Beaufort, South Carolina. If you follow true crime, you'll know that's the area the murder.
Yeah, I took at Harry Nuts to go see the vacation house that the Murdaughs stayed in. And let's just say it's a little, for an island, it's a little off the beaten path. It's kind of a weird way to get there. Like there's street signs missing and the directions don't actually take you to that house. It takes you to a house down the road. And you have to do your research to know specifically which house it is. And luckily, I decided to dive into that whole thing right before Harry showed up. So we was able to do that. Go check it out. And it's kind of a strange house because it's right next to the marina, which I guess makes sense if you own a boat. But, you know, what did you say? Bluegrass? I kind of feel like bluegrass would be your best bet for your accent, bro. I just feel like that would fit like a little key inside a little keyhole.
Murdaugh saga has been unfolding in, and that's actually how I got my start in true crime. But that's another story. Walhalla, South Carolina is a small town on the foothills. It calls itself the gateway to the Blue Ridge Mountains. Many of the people I spoke to in the area had lived there their whole lives, and many of them their families did as well, for generations before them. And that was the case for 58-year-old Andy Jones, the husband of April Jones. He grew up in Walhalla and later built his own home on the same road.
That was cousin's store. You know, because they're all cousins up there, bud.
He grew up on. This is where him and April lived when April passed. This house was different from many of the older trailers that lined the same road. It was a well-built, cozy wooden home that, like I said, Andy actually built himself. The road that this home is on, though, has some sketchier areas to it. One of the disappearances I'll be covering next season, a man named Josh.
No, you got that all wrong, bud. I was allegedly setting my alibis. You see, it works like this. I figured if I annoyed him hard enough, he'd push me in and they'd just leave. But it turns out Captain Jimmy was a pretty good dude. And he didn't abandon me to the tides, which I might have forgiven him for. I'm an asshole. What can I say? This guy's involved in methamphetamines. I have that on good authority. Little Birdie told me, this dude, yep, that's the guy you talk to if you want some of that stuff. You know, what they call it, slim fast.
Was last seen a quarter mile down the road. There's also a death I'm covering next season where a man was beaten with a bat before he was left inside his trailer that was subsequently lit on fire, burning with him inside. Again, this occurred within about half a mile from April's home. April Jones was found lying in the back corner of the workshop on her and her husband's property. She had been on a multi-day drug bender.
All of them, bro. Of course, look at that dude. He's involved with all the drugs. in that county, he's the guy to go get turned into by the cops. He's like the super duper central criminal of this whole element. $2 say. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I'm one of those people who goes through one of these stories and points at each person and goes, they did it. They did it. And then I try to figure out how and why and for what reason they would do it. And it usually doesn't fit and move on. But it's a good way to approach a case if you just assume everyone's guilty. I'm not a cop. Let me start there. I don't have to presume motherfuckers be innocent. On my own head, I can just say you're all guilty. I can assume that John Denicola is the guy who went up there and missing these people and see if it fits. And if it don't fit, we move on to something that might fit, like Smoking Auditor's the one that's moving from Ohio to go, volunteer these people for the conscription of God. That kind of stuff.
And the official ruling of April's death was overdose and hypothermia. The report says she has bruises consistent with a fall, but I've seen the photos of April's body. She was covered in bruises and wounds, and markings on her wrist and neck made it look as if she may have even been tied up. I spoke with April's mother.
I walked in and I looked at him and I said, that's not my kid.
Mm.
When you look at him, you'll know why.
Yeah.
You tell me. Look at these. This was a.
You can generally fit drugs to just about any case on earth. Whether it's a direct ratio to the case or has a direct effect on the case itself, or it's just some random person's a doper and no one knows, or if you include alcoholism, it goes up to almost 100% because there are a lot of high functioning alcoholics in our society that go completely unnoticed because you think that's peppermint and it's really peppermint schnapps. You think it's spearmint, but it's really spearmint schnapps. It smells like Fireball, but she's actually, hammering on some of that Jack Daniels fire behind the counter. She got her like a handle over yonder. She refill a flask and you don't know nothing about it.
Around her neck. Okay. This is her neck. That was her feet.
Wow.
Okay. Look at this.
This is supposed to be consistent.
This is her hands. You know, she fell.
She fell.
Yeah.
I mean, would she fall off of a cliff? I mean,
her family does not believe that she died from an overdose and hypothermia. We'll get into the details of her death later, but first, let's get to know April Jones.
Yeah.
April had grown up.
You might be a high functioning alcoholic, but I seriously doubt you're drinking peppermint schnapps, bro. I don't see it. I've seen you drink too much other stuff to even think that. I don't think you'd spend the money on it because it wouldn't be worth the buzz in the bottle. It's cheaper just to go with some old bottom shelf tequila over yonder. Yeah, that's right. I used to have that couch. It was in my first apartment. We threw it away immediately.
In Walhalla. She was 37 years old when she died and left behind her husband, 3 kids, and numerous friends and loved ones.
April was my oldest daughter.
We are doing some rough guesstimations on some missing folks, what be missing all from the same place, around the same time, and in association with the same peoples. So I have a theory that it's all related. But I don't think anyone else doubted that.
She was rambunctious, to say the least. I mean, she came into this world screaming and probably went out screaming, if I know her. She had her problems. She got involved.
Yeah, bud, but it doesn't taste nearly as good. Because, bro, you go walking around smelling like peppermint, everybody knows you're drunk, and you don't care.
With the drugs, I don't deny that. The drugs took a hold of her. She would do great for a while, and then it was just like, back into it. She thought she could save everybody. It didn't matter if somebody come to her and they needed a place to stay, they was there. She tried to save everybody but herself. That's just the person she was.
She had a heart for
Yes.
Welcome in, bud. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming by. Chilling like a villain, cheating, robbing, rhyming, stealing. In a world where Lawless doesn't check his email.
She wanted to save everybody.
I also spoke with April's daughter, Hannah. She's only 20 years old, but has lived more life than most.
My mama, she was the light of this entire town. She was on both sides of the town, you know, like she had that reputation of, you know, doing drugs or whatever, but then she also had the other side where it was like she was a damn good person. Everybody loved her. Every person she came around, like that smile ear to ear. She just had that, like, you walk in a room and it's like, you know, she brought sunshine with her.
April spent years in and out of jail before going to prison for 2.5 years.
Oh boy. Ooh. Facing 24 months. Bro, makes sphincter just pucker right on up. You gotta go look at that dude in the dress and be all respectful as hell with him. Because if you don't, you get more time. Seems kind of, I don't know. Snow 5, what's up, girl? What's happening? What's shaking, bacon?
When she got out, she started getting her life back together.
Everything was getting normal, really. That's what it felt like. Then everything just kind of got stripped away again.
But
as soon as I started actually getting a relationship with my mom for the first time in 14 years, you're going to take her away from me.
When I spoke with April's mother, April's best friend had tagged along as well.
Matter of fact, I was going to the Potter's house and she called me and she was crying. She's like, JJ, I'm getting baptized Sunday. Will you go to church with me? I said, I will be there with bells on. Seeing her take that step in life, I was so happy for her because I had watched her overcome so much.
But the drugs would end up getting a hold of her again. And drugs did change April in a massive way.
When she would come around.
Okay. Do you think the drugs made her A, more reliable and more well-adjusted, B, less reliable and less well-adjusted, or C, had zero effect on the condition of her life? Choose now. Lock in your vote.
Around me, I would know right then. I mean, she would be high strung, into everything. I mean, just, you know, wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open. She was a good person, no doubt. But drugs are the devil.
A few days before her death, April got in a huge argument with her family.
That's kind of a wild accusation. I'm currently writing a song with Make Stupid People Famous. Didn't you see the entire thing happen? That's pretty wild. It's kind of actually happening before your eyes. Sort of. We might have to do that on Rumble before we quit. Write that dirty song, boy.
Last time I seen her, you know, it was an argument because I woke up that morning, my car's gone. Where's my car? I was livid. Cussed mama everything she was worth. And she brings it back and she's got like baskets and baskets of clothes and there's chocolate syrup all on my fucking seat. So I got in the car and I was taking her home. She was in my face screaming, like, on the way home. I slammed on the brakes. She went to the dash. Crazy shit. The last memory I have with my mom.
Wait a second. I swear I've driven this chick home before. I'm almost positive it was either a chick like her or a chick just like her.
Imagine sitting with that one for 4 years. Still gonna sit with it for the rest of my life. But
when she left my house, she hijacked my cell phone. We got into it, and Hannah, which is the oldest daughter, went to take her home back to Andy's, and she told me, she said, "You'll need me before I need you." Last words. I never saw her again until under the truck.
Yeah. So. I know all this doesn't paint April in the best light, and I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but I learned so much from my times in Walhalla. Certain drugs can cause people to do or say things they would never do or say with a clear mind. Anyways, April then went on a multi-day drug bender and spent her last few days at a few homes near her house.
And I feel like I failed her because, like, you know,
wait, do they all work at the gas station? How do you know she worked? What do you know this chick? Yeah, that might check out. Come to think about it.
Before my mama died, I was found dead, you know, the neighbors. They came all the way up to my nana's and they was like, you know, April, she's in the house, like, she's a little everywhere, you know, you need to come get her. We'd been dealing with her for almost 2 weeks beforehand. Like, went and got her. Andy was here, or thought he was. You know, we're like, just tell Andy to get her. He's right there as his wife.
Twinkie defense. Hold up. Wait
and I know now that if we would have just gotten up and went and got her.
What's the Twinkie defense? What's up, Snark? Good to see you, girl.
She wouldn't be dead. She wouldn't.
After speaking with Hannah, Andy walked me down to the workshop where he found April to tell me about the night he found her. Going to all these locations and interviewing the people involved in these stories means that these documentaries take a long time to make, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the support of my sponsors. I want to thank Factor for not only
So are we watching sponsors tonight? 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Making this video possible, but for helping me stay on track with my health goals throughout my hectic schedule. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. Their team of gourmet chefs create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best all day long. Factor supports wholesome eating made simple. Their menus are updated.
We can split the difference. I'll talk while he sells some crap to some other people. I don't really care what you do with your time. Just do it and do it hard. Mean it. Try to film it and let me watch it on YouTube if possible. I have an issue buying anything that can't define itself. If you just saw the word Factor on the wall somewhere, would you know what these people were selling? No. I think that's a bad go, just in general. And I don't care how many meals you do it, if it's just a factor of something. Isn't that, you know, mathematically indefinable? It's just something of something. An undefined limit or non-limit. Wait, I think I've lost myself. Crawling far, far too far down the rabbit hole. Boy, he's selling it too. Look at him. Good God, man. I kind of aspire to be that dedicated to something one day. The only thing I'm that dedicated to is my marriage. And that's just because she has all the money. Yeah, I said it. I'm a sugar baby.
After speaking with Hannah, Andy walked me down to the workshop on the property where he found his wife, April. This was a surreal moment for me.
God's honest truth. This entire channel is based around the idea of go away and leave me alone.
When you spend so much time researching and preparing and thinking about a case, then you find yourself standing in the place where the incident actually occurred. There's a weight to it, and I don't really know how else to explain it.
Kids don't come down here anymore.
Okay, we can all agree that anytime someone is unalived, it is sad. There is always sadness. It is a loss, and the world is a bit less bright. Any jokes that take place around this are not meant to offend people. It's meant simply to make light of to make entertaining something that I would like to highlight. Later, we'll be laughing at people because it's funny. Now we're going to laugh at me because I'm stupid, and that's fine. We're not laughing at anybody in the video, and nothing like that. Hashtag just saying, though.
I do very little. I found April laying right there. When I coming home from work, it was 1 a.m. I saw the lights on in here, and you see under that door. And at the time, my son, I got a son that's 23 now. He and some of his friends would come here and hang out in the evenings, drink beer. I just thought they'd been here and left and got to turn the lights off. So I stopped and going to cut the lights off. I opened that door. When I pushed it back, I saw her laying in here.
He explained that his truck was backed into the workshop and April was found lying in the small space between the truck and the workshop wall.
Now, I came over and felt of her. I tried to feel a pulse, and the instant I touched her, I knew she was dead. Her skin felt different.
Let me get a quick shot of this, and we don't need to spend too much time in here. Andy had found April after getting off work late Monday night, technically early Tuesday morning, at around 1 a.m. Here's a few excerpts from the police report. Quote, I walked over to the victim and immediately noticed.
All right. So victim number 1 is found in a shed, closed but not locked, with the lights on, laying like randomly sort of between the vehicle and the wall. Okay.
Noticed some unusual red markings on her right wrist and hand area that looked like scratches, as well as several other markings which did not appear to be scratches. I also observed what appeared to be bruises on her right forehead. The coroner then advised that he was ruling this as a suspicious death at this time. At the address next door, we met a Thomas Smith at the front door who had the odor of alcoholic beverage on his person. Thomas.
Okay, so drunk dudes chilling. Right. Gotcha. Seems legit.
Stated the victim was brought to his house by 2 males in a truck. He did not know them. He did state that the victim had been at his house on the past Saturday and had stayed through Sunday morning, leaving around 9 a.m. He indicated that she crossed his side yard to return to her home. He stated that she was known to be a drug user and believed that she was high on her drug of choice, meth. He went on to report that she left Sunday morning without additional issues and seemed to be in good health. So let's recap the last few days of April's life. She had stolen her mother's phone and went on a multi-day drug binge. According to the next-door neighbor, Tom, she was brought to his place by 2 men in.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
What up? What do we got going on here?
All right. So there's.
I just realized that we're in different time zones as well.
Oh, that is significant.
That is significant.
So we have this town called Walhalla in South Carolina, where people are just dropping like flies, bro. They're disappearing. They're turning up, and I suspect there is a significant meth influenced industry on this mountain. And
Did you say meth?
Methamphetamines, yes, sir.
Okay.
That is my theory. Is that all of this is tied up to somebody who was shaking that bottle, right? As far as I know, there's been some questioning and some interrogations and stuff. And I'm going to try to go find the interrogation footage later. We're doing an After Dark Rumble thing. That's going to be a Rumble exclusive doohickey that I'm not going to sign over as a Rumble exclusive. In other words, apparently no one's ever going to see it. I don't know how Rumble works, so I'm just going to go fuck with it in the After Dark section.
Tits.
You're interested. If for anybody who don't know, this is Flow State. Right here. He does stuff.
If you don't know, what the fuck's wrong with you?
You do?
If you don't know what, then what the fuck, then, comma. If you don't know, comma, then what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. That makes sense. Okay. So we are looking at our first victim, who was found in a shed between some old dude's truck and the wall. And they went and looked at the shed, and the truck's not there. The wall is. Anyway, the point is we've just gotten into the first victim and how she was found. Haven't really looked into a whole lot of background. He only took 3 in example, but apparently this place has a significant reduction in population for mysterious unknown reasons. But one look at the people involved.
I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Never mind. If we're just on the first one, then
All right. I'll let you get a flavor on this. Like I said, everybody, all the links are in the description, both in Rumble and you can't chat in Rumble on a cell phone unless you have like certain specific types of cell phones that'll let you do it.
Can you do it with that's lame. Can you do it with Windows when you do it in the window or the desktop mode?
I haven't found a way for it to actually accept a comment through my phone, and I've tried I've got the app, I've got all kinds of weirdness going on, but my phone will not post anything to Rumble. Not without doing some weirdness. But as far as commenting and stuff like that, it'll usually do a comment, although I might get an email saying that it failed to post or something. But as far as commenting in a live chat, I have yet to find a way to do it. So that's kind of what I was hoping to figure out. I was going to make a place for me to be able to comment, because it really seems like you're in a room by yourself. Even if you're in a chat with like 50 people, it just feels like you're standing in a mosh pit screaming at the top of the lungs. No one cares, no one notices, and no one gives a shit. It's a little bit liberating.
In a truck. He says he didn't know them. April was at his place Saturday and stayed through Sunday morning. This is the last time she was seen alive. Andy told me he was in the workshop on Sunday night with his daughter and April was not there. She is found late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, locked in the workshop on her property. What April was doing between Sunday morning, when she is last seen, and when she's found is unknown. The police end up ruling April's death a result of an accidental overdose and hypothermia. But why would April not just walk to her home next to the workshop? The workshop was not heated. And why would she lock herself in? And what about the condition of her body? None of this made any sense to April's family.
What condition was her
I
body in?
know as well as I'm sitting here that my daughter didn't kill her.
What was that?
What condition was her body in? They said as well as the condition of her body.
All right. So he actually looked at the crime scene photos and the autopsy photos, and he has observed red marks on the right wrist, back of the right hand, possible bruising, hematomas on the forearm of the right arm, lividity on the bottom, like she was laying on her stomach and then got rolled over at some point.
So she was possibly tied up and then froze.
To me, it looks in my brain more like somebody grabbed her by her right arm and snatched her out of a car window. If you've ever seen the effect that might have on a smaller,
I haven't. I tried it once, but I was unsuccessful in getting the guy out of the window.
Like spider monkeys, right?
Right. Which is a good thing because he was also driving the car, and that might have caused the dominoes might have kept.
I got a ride with a buddy of mine one afternoon, and it got in the truck. We get to the very first stop sign, and he goes to like do something and drops his cigarette in his lap. And since he was pulling up to a stop, he stopped and stepped out of the truck. The fucking truck just rolled off the end of the road with the cigarette burning in the floorboard and me screaming like a bitch the whole way because I was trying to climb out with the seatbelt on, and it was with the automatic seatbelt thing. So there's no. I'm over here trying to kick the door open. Traffic's coming, and I'm losing my shit. Oh my god! I just remembered that.
They don't make those anymore. Probably for reasons like that. Those seatbelts.
I bet you. I bet you. That's exactly why.
When we rolled a Volvo, and I was in the passenger seat, and I woke up upside down, and I'm all good, right? All three of us are totally fine, but I thought I was going to die because the dude in the back seat was huge, fucking just massive, and he somehow managed to get out before I woke up, and I woke up him like he had grabbed me by the collar and he was pulling me out of the car, but I was wearing my seatbelts. He's pulling me through the fucking seatbelt. I'm like, dude, you're gonna decapitate me,
right?
I'm gonna survive this car wreck just to have you cut my head off with the seatbelt.
I had a buddy of mine named Lonnie, and he was driving one afternoon when I saw a DOT truck brakes fail. Like I seen parts blow out from under it as it was pulling up to the stoplight, and it just poof, and freewheeled right through it. Like there was that massive explosion of compressed air, pieces and parts bounced off the ground, and there was no longer anything resembling brakes. When I saw that happen, he had almost stopped to turn into the McDonald's. And I seen that happen and realized that truck's not going to be able to stop. And I said, fuck this, and opened the door and stepped out of that car, hit the button, fucking pulled a perfect, flawless exit. And then the seat I was sitting in was put in the back left seat. When everything slid to a stop, Lonnie jumps out and with his bare hand rips the entire top, like where it had disconnected from the frame. He was over there trying to peel it open with his hands, screaming about me. I was just wrapped up around my hands and legs and stuff, standing on one foot in the middle of a 4-lane and just standing there because I didn't know if I made it out of the car or not. Am I going to roll into traffic? I mean, I just didn't know. It took a cop walking out there and tapping me on my shoulder and going, "Hey, kid, you're all right, man. Thank God." Okay.
Never been so happy to see a cop in your life.
What? I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, geez. I'm going to drop the link at the hour mark. We're going to go to Rumble after that, and that's how that's going to work. I sent the link out to 5 people like I do every time. It can't always be you, bruh. Mike, I'll consider making you a co-host to something, but you've got to fix your mic. The green screen is secondary. You don't actually need that.
Are you still sending? I just said my phone's over on the charger and I hear my phone go off.
Yeah, it's hurt because I got 2 or 3 myself a while ago and I just sat here and did this. Like, come on, yo. Like, I haven't stopped the last 2, right? And then before that, I didn't send you one for like, what, 2 months or so? If you're near the top of the list, I scroll down further.
Right.
And you know, part of the reason
I hate Messenger. When I scroll down, I have so many unread Facebook. If anybody watching has not gotten a response on Messenger aside from M, I apologize.
All right, back to the show.
Kill herself. She didn't lay down under that truck and stop.
To be honest, I think she struggled. She struggled with somebody. I feel like she even drugged. The autopsy said she had rope burns on her wrists, her ankles, her neck.
Maybe she was
it looked like she'd been tied in the downward dog position for 2 hours. Did a rape kit, came back clean. Whatever.
I have it on good authority that folks on drugs do amazing things at 3 a.m.
I've also heard that from a reliable source.
She had no panties, no bra on, whatever. None of it made sense. So I think, she struggled
Allegedly.
to try and get away from whoever it was.
I think if we want to figure out what happened to April, we need to dive deeper into the days leading up to her death. After April got in the argument with her family and stole her mother's phone, she was at a home April's mother calls the White House. The White House is about 1.5 miles from April's home and was a well-known place in the area to get drugs. Faith Roach, who went missing a week after April died, was also at the White House around this time. A man named Kevin Mailer could often be found there.
People would tell me that she was at the end of my dirt road at the White
House. Stop it, or you'll be my locale for 3 weeks straight.
House.
She would love that.
Kevin Mailer, getting drugs. I have been told that Faith was out there.
Hold on, did you see that guy?
Yeah.
The guy right there? All right. So this is one of the individuals that live in this region, right? I can't find him. Where is he at? There he is. That dude. No. Damn it. This dude. Screw it. We're just going to do it from here.
I was in some good.
Fuck it.
Some good stuff. Okay.
Kevin Mailer, who many in this area refer to as Boston, is 56 years old. He's a known drug dealer in the area, or at least was, and has a long history of crime over the years. He's spent about 8 of the last 10 years in prison. Before he moved to Walhalla, South Carolina in around 1996, he lived in Massachusetts where he was a suspect in the disappearance of a young woman named Jennifer Fay, who went missing in 1989. I won't be covering Jennifer Fay in this series, but there is a podcast by Barstool Sports called The Case, who covered her as well as some of the other people in this series. I'd encourage you to listen to them after this series to get a different perspective on things. Anyways, you'll hear me and others in this podcast refer to Kevin Mailer sometimes as Boston and sometimes as Kevin, so just keep in mind that that's the same person. Kevin Mailer's name has been brought up in all 3 of these cases that we're going to be investigating, and at the time of writing this has murder charges written up for him.
You see this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's 2:00 in the morning. You're in the middle of nowhere. You need gas. And there's this dude sitting outside of a convenience store with a blinky light. Do you stop and get gas?
I would.
Or do you put on your Pope hat, do a cross, and hope you make it to the next? No, I'd totally stop and get gas, dude.
I've stopped places with way sketchier people than him outside.
No, I was coming back from Texas with my El Camino, and I stopped at this gas station where there was literally 37 guys standing around outside, and obviously packing heat, bro. Like, they weren't hiding it. Most of these people were either holstered up or directly appendix carrying in their waistband. I pull up. My brother looks at me and goes, "Man, you sure you want to get out here?" I said, "What you talking about? This bitch is thirsty." I filled up my car, came back out. They were all standing around the car going, "Hey, man, you pop the hood on that thing. I want to see it." Okay, sure. But that was everywhere.
Did you?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Dude, I got.
Well, you're from Georgia. You're in Georgia. I think I've told you about stopping at the scariest gas station ever in Atlanta. I was like, where the fuck am I?
You may be right there, bro.
We're gonna die here. I'm used to being in sketchy places too. I don't mind them. I kind of like them actually. But that gas station in Atlanta, I don't know Atlanta well enough to even know what part of Atlanta I was in. But wherever I was, that was not a good gas station for 3 white people to be pulling over in their brand new Dodge Charger.
That also checks out twice. Just say it. It checks out for the Dodge Charger for 3 white people at 3 a.m.
Yep.
What's really creepy, what really bothered me back when I was delivering windows and stuff, you've got a card and you use your card to fill up everything because you're on the company dole when you're delivering, and so you have to go to the places where they accept the card, and that's not always the most legitimate of places.
Correct.
Like, I'm not joking. I have filled up that truck at a legitimate chop shop. If that's not what was going on in there, I haven't watched enough Vin Diesel movies. I mean, because who would chop up a brand new FJ Cruiser? Not a scratch on it. Always over there going to work with a fucking cutoff saw. And I'm like, that doesn't look good of it. Just give me some gas, bro. I gotta go. I'm not supposed to be around these types of people anymore.
It's a violation.
For him for the 3rd case, Kevin Craig. Through my investigations, I came up with multiple scenarios as to what could have happened with each case. And there's one scenario that links Kevin Mailer with them all.
Kevin Wayne Mailer is being charged with murder and kidnapping and the death of Kevin Craig.
Our investigators that determined Kevin Craig was murdered because of what he knew about the disappearance of one of our missing persons being Faith Roach.
Through my investigation, I found reason to believe that Faith may have disappeared because she had knowledge that could implicate Kevin Mailer in the death of April Jones. So the theory is that Kevin Mailer killed April Jones, and in order to cover his tracks, he had to get rid of Faith. Then, in order to cover his tracks from getting rid of Faith, he had to get rid of Kevin Craig. But this was just my initial theory early on. Is there any truth to it? What evidence do we have?
How do you like that, bud?
Dude's never going to be able to stop killing people.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, he's got to kill this dude now, and now he's got to kill us because we do.
Right? Damn it, this list keeps getting longer and longer.
I'm starting to dislike this video. Come to think of it.
Feels
because
like
what else is he going to do when he gets out except sit around and plot out house?
I'm going to have to just like change. I need a profile picture, and I'm going to change my name real quick.
Careful. I know where I found. Oh no. You are evil, like the fruits of the devil.
Have for or against it, and what other theories are there for each case? There is a lot to cover in this series, and I want to encourage you to hold your opinions lightly and be open to changing them as new information is provided. I'll try to look for biases I might have in the research and creation of this documentary, as well as biases you as a listener might have, and describe them as we go. We'll start this now with the complexity bias. The Farnham Street blog describes the complexity bias as, quote, a logical fallacy that leads us to give undue credence to complex concepts. Faced with two competing hypotheses, we are likely to choose the more complex one. That's usually the option with the most assumptions and...
I have a joke for you. What is the difference between a Lamborghini and a pile of dead bodies?
The debt. One of them comes with debt.
I don't have a Lamborghini in my garage.
I knew that one.
End quote. This doesn't mean the complex hypothesis is the wrong one, just that statistically it's the less likely one, even though we as humans have a tendency to see it as the more likely one. I think there's even more to it when it comes to a series like this. The more complex theories are simply more interesting and, for lack of a better word, entertaining. Just remember that this doesn't make them more likely to be true. Back to the story. At the time of writing this, Boston is in prison for possession of meth with intent to distribute. But when I first went...
Go figure. Not that nice fellow. I never would have guessed.
I wonder what his bond is for that.
I bet it's Astro.
Well, no, I'm curious because mine was $100,000 with no priors. It was the same charge. And it feels slightly unjust.
Doesn't it? It's like, homie, I didn't even make them take it. They wouldn't let me sleep. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Indeed.
What's up, Bryce? Welcome in, bud. Good to see you.
Went to Walhalla, I was able to speak with someone who was very close with Boston. We'll call this person Person A. They remember...
Wasn't me. I swear to God it wasn't me. I've never met that man.
Look at that sexy picture. She's like doing her all seductive laying down. That was the come here,
probably.
That was the come here, big boy look.
Right? Somebody was taking a picture of her. Don't they all do that?
This is the only screenshot we could get before the video turned too graphic for the documentary.
The rest are on her OnlyFans. I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible person. I'm a bad person.
What made that? What, because he's dead?
I'll see you in hell.
I've changed Person A's voice for this series.
January 28th is when April got killed. And I say got killed because...
That's Tony. You know, he's a little bit limp in the wrist and slight in the heels. I mean, good
Tony.
guy, good kid. Drank a few too many beers. Apparently involved in meth.
It's harder to get drunk on that stuff.
Right? Right? Can you imagine that man's liver? Woo! Woo. Good Lord. We're talking true pathology.
Her mom showed me them pictures, man, and that girl didn't... That's not... No.
Here's Person A referring to Boston.
You had something to do with that shit that happened to April because he left here at 11:30. And I'll never forget this. It was not raining when he left, but when he came back, it was 2:30 a.m. And he was running and he ran in the house. Him and Barry both ran in the house.
Person A also mentions the name Barry. This is referring to Barry Neal, who was a good friend of Kevin Mailer's, as well as his driver when Boston was selling drugs.
So, how's he doing nowadays?
The driver?
Yeah.
Who would take that job? Have you ever met a dealer who had a driver?
Yes.
A designated driver?
Yes.
I have not.
He, my man lived like next door to a limo service, and it was like his cousin's limo service. So he just bought one of the cars, and it was technically.
Well, if you
used.
have a limo, all right, I can see that. I actually do. I did know a guy who had a limo.
Right. Well, this dude had like access to 6, and so he'd just walk out with his personal driver and go climb in one of the random limos and leave. And come back and park it and line with the rest of them. Get back out. But he was like half a block away. He walked across the street to get there. So
I actually, the guy who has a limo, I actually thought about. Never mind.
Is that a Rumble topic?
No. It's just nothing ever happened with the limo, but I thought about having something happen to the limo. You know.
All right. So I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. I've been having a lot of fits with StreamYard here recently. And,
that's just what you say so that M doesn't get mad when you kick her out.
Oh, no, I'll tell her your fucking sound is trash. Get the fuck out. Why are you fucking with me? Go talk to that damn therapist I've been mentioning for the past couple of weeks.
She does not need that.
She's a therapist?
She does not need a therapist.
I need a fucking therapist, dude. And she seems to have a much feebler grasp on reality than I do.
Reality is feeble to begin with, so
I'll give you that. We're gonna let
I support you being just the crazy ass way that God made you. The shadow people are talking to you.
God damn it. Continue, fuck. Why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. You're talking me out, so here, make it fucking good.
Oh. Oops, hold on. God loves you just the way he made you. Crazy, shitty microphones, all the things that make you uniquely you. Appreciate those because we do. Praise God.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.